I started magic when I was around 10 years old. I never really had much of an interest in magic. It wasn't something that greatly appealed to me. I was more into sort of like superheroes and comic books and all that kind of stuff. My favourite hero was Superman. To me, I really liked the idea of being able to fly, and I had dreams about flying. And so flying was a really big, if I had a superpower, that would be the thing that I'd like to be able to do, is to be able to defy gravity and to have the freedom of being able to just fly through the air. And people said this was impossible, you can't do it. But when I was watching TV one day, I was watching a magician on TV called David Copperfield, and he performed his flying illusion. And it was absolutely amazing. It just blew me away. And it was really emotional because I believed that, well, a man can fly. Because people would tell me that, well, you can't fly for real. But this man is doing it. So how come he can do it when everyone else is saying that it's impossible? And they said, well, he's a magician. He's an illusionist. He's not really flying. He's just giving the illusion that he's flying. And I thought to myself, okay, cool. Well, I'll be an illusionist then. It was really quite that simple. So David Copperfield's flying illusion is the thing that really inspired me to become a magician. Because I like the idea of people telling you that you can't do something and then you going and doing it. So I started watching other magicians, and at the time there was The Unpleasant World of Penn and Teller and stuff like that. It used to be on TV at nights, and I'd stay up and watch it. And there wasn't much magic on TV in the UK. So I'd always keep an eye on the TV guide to see when the next magic show was or magician performing on a TV. So at that age, I was really just a big fan of magic and wanted to become a magician. But I thought, well, there's no possible way that I could do it, because I'm just a kid. And then I watched a TV show on the BBC called The Lowdown, and it had a guy on there called Keelan Laser. And this was in about 1995. And he was this child magician that was performing all these tricks. And that was the first time that it made me believe, well, I could do this. Because if this kid's doing it, I can do it. It went from being, oh, I'd like to be able to do that, to, oh, I believe I can do that. And there was an internal shift where I thought I could become a magician. And it wasn't just some fantasy. So from that point on, I was fixated and obsessed with magic. Unfortunately, at the time, there were very few places where you could learn how to become a magician. One of the things that I did a lot of was escapes. And the reason why I did escapes is for two reasons. One, because I was interested in Harry Houdini, and he was predominantly an escapologist and what he was most famous for, and I wanted to emulate Harry Houdini. And the other reason why I was into escapes is because it was easy to get hold of things to escape from. So I could go down to my local hardware store and get some chains and padlocks and rope. Harry Houdini used a milk churn to escape from. So I looked around, and the thing that I found that was very similar was a wheelie bin. I managed to get hold of some handcuffs and hang myself upside down from a tree in the back garden, well, handcuffed, and try and escape. I did whatever I could to start building my identity as a magician. I did my first performance as a magician on stage at the Castle Theatre in Wellingborough when I was 12 years old. And then from that time, it was like a dream had come true. I was no longer just messing around in my back garden, doing odd tricks out and about for people. I was actually on stage performing an escape, and people were applauding me. And I'd now actualized what I wanted to become. I was now, in my mind, a magician. So I entered talent shows in my school when I was 13 years old. And by the time I was 14, I started putting on my own stage shows at school, selling the tickets, making the posters, performing it, just basically doing everything. I was responsible for organising everything and leading a team of people that were kind enough to help me. I never felt good about accepting the money, and so I usually just said to the school, oh, take whatever's made from this and put it towards the school funds, because I always felt bad about receiving money. The thing was, I was 13 years old and I wanted to have a touring magic show like David Copperfield, and I was frustrated that I had to go to school and learn trivial subjects like French. And I couldn't understand why we were learning subjects that weren't relevant to the career path that we wanted. It didn't make sense to me. And so at this stage, I was helping other magicians on stage. I was Aladdin in like a little touring pantomime thing. I made TV appearances, and so I did have things going on, but things just weren't moving fast enough. I wanted to be a full-time working professional magician, and I was just eager to do it. And I was just frustrated that I had to go to school. I didn't care about money, and I didn't care about success. I just wanted the identity of being a magician. So because of the lack of opportunities, I started booking village halls myself. I go to a village hall, find out how much the hourly rate was, I'd book it, and then I'd sell tickets for a couple of pounds just to pay for the costs so that I could put on local events. I had all sorts of weird haircuts and weird clothing, and I was emulating a lot of the older magicians that I was seeing on TV. So even though I was like 14 years old, I came across as much older than I was in order to be taken seriously. When I went to the careers advisor at school and I told them that I wanted to be a magician, there was no set path as a career of how to be a young person going into being a full-time magician. And it was a shame because I had all the passion and the energy and the youth and the kind of naivety, and I was prepared to do anything, and I was so enthusiastic. And it's a shame that I didn't have the opportunities available to me. I always felt like I had to forge my own opportunities. So after having a break from magic for a couple of years, I started magic again in 2001 when I was 16 years old, and I made a limousine disappear on a local television station. And from that, I got working doing close-up magic at TGI Fridays. I rang up. I just rang around everywhere and looked for opportunities for myself and created my own publicity stunts. It was always constant self-promotion, trying to garner an opportunity. By the time I was 18, I'd left school and I was at college and I was doing performing arts. And in the summer holidays and stuff, I'd go and perform at steam rallies, doing my underwater escapes. And I also had this act called Man in a Suitcase. I did this for quite a few years, where I'd be like a walk-around performer, giving the illusion that a man was being carried by another man inside of a suitcase. By the time I was 19, I'd left home and finished college, and I was now working in a magic shop. I'd been going there every Saturday and I was familiar with most of the tricks in the magic store, so I was able to demonstrate them. Going to college was a good thing because it really opened my eyes up to all the different types of performing arts that there were. Apart from acting, I also taught myself juggling, and I was learning a lot of dance. By the time I was 20, I'd left college and I had 5 jobs because I was saving up for my driving license. I was always hanging out in the flat, just learning new skills. By the time I was 21, I'd really gotten back into magic again, and I'd kind of reorientated what I wanted from magic. I was doing magic now not so much because of my original intentions of wanting to fly and to be a world famous magician. I was now doing it because I actually enjoyed magic, and I enjoyed the process of learning, and I enjoyed the process of performing, and just to be alive in the moment and to perform something made me very happy. So in early 2007, I went and auditioned for RJP Entertainments to work at the House of Illusion in Salou, Spain. I saw it as a fantastic opportunity. I thought I'd be perfect for the job, and the only thing is that I'd have to go and live in another country, and I'd have to kind of give up everything that I had going on at home, and it was a bit of a big risk for me because it was my first kind of major contract with anyone, so it was challenging but exciting. And Rodney hired me and gave me the job, and I'm always very grateful to him for that. And I became resident illusionist at the House of Illusion in Salou, Spain. And I worked there for 6 months throughout the summer season. The team there are amazing. Everyone's really lovely, and everything was going on. It was fantastic. It was really amazing, really, because I started magic when I was 12 years old at school, and I wanted to be a full-time illusionist. And 10 years later, I was doing my dream job. I was working in Spain. It was always nice and sunny. People were really kind and generous. People were always in a good mood. There was loads of opportunities and fun to be had, and like at college there was a real sense of community, because whenever you get a group of performing artists that are passionate, enthusiastic and positive, you always get good outcomes. If anything, I took it a bit too seriously, because I still had a perfectionist mindset and I wanted everything to be perfect. Living in Spain for 6 months and doing my dream job really changed my life. So I wake up and go and do a welcome meeting in the morning and go and visit the hotels and let people know about the venue and help publicise and promote it. And I usually go out and hang out on the beach all day and catch up on sleep and have a swim. And then in the afternoon I'd start work, and that'd go through to the early hours of the morning. I was doing 2 magic shows a night, 6 days a week. I was getting so much experience than I would have done back home. So I was doing more gigs in 6 months than most magicians would do in 5 years. And it really built my confidence and crafted me as a performer. Came the time to leave, I was really excited to get back, because I was just so confident that I could go and do this myself. And it had really built me in a lot of ways. So when I got back, I set up my own business as a self-employed magician. And I rejoined all the magic clubs in my area, and I had this new kind of found confidence. And then in 2009, I was entering competitions a lot, magic competitions. And I'd never won an award before. And I remember the first time I won an award, I couldn't believe it. I'd broken through that barrier of acceptance, because I just had so much confidence as a performer. And then I went on to win another award and another award and another award, all at my local club. But it was a big thing for me, because I'd never won a magic competition before in my life. And now I couldn't stop winning them. They even come up with an award, and I was the first most awarded magician, because I had so many awards. For years, what I had done is I'd gotten better and better at trying to perform magic, when I should have been probably working on that time doing more things that were promoting myself. Like, it's a show business, and I was very good at putting on the show, but I wasn't very good at the business side of things. So I invested a lot of time and money in trying to learn and understand how people made consumer decisions.
Hello, I'm Douglas Maddy, and welcome to my website. If you're planning a special occasion, I can provide entertainment solutions which will make your next important event a memorable one. I do this by creating memorable moments of magic, which I will then associate to your event. Magical entertainment solutions are available for business events, private parties, public shows. I also have over 10 years of experience specialising in close-up magic, stage illusions, stunts and escapes, and mind control. I have a variety of skills, services and experience, which means that you can book with confidence. From an intimate house party to a large extravaganza, make your special occasion one to remember by hiring me as your very own personal magician. Treat your guests to a unique experience at your next dinner party. Become the star of the show at your own birthday. Impress family and friends at your wedding and anniversary celebrations. Generate more fun at your school prom or next club meeting. So whatever the occasion is, there's no better way to build anticipation for your next important event than to have hard-hitting, memorable moments of magic. Contact me today on my landline or mobile number so we can discuss your requirements. Alternatively, you can fill in your event information in the instant quote section, which is located to the right of the screen. Even if you're not looking to book me right now, then join my website and receive a free magic video with the latest news, offers and promotions.
It was very interesting, because one gig you might be performing at a children's party, the next gig you might be performing for a mayor or royalty or something. It was always interesting and different. You'd be in a village hall, then you'd be at some high-end corporate event, and then you'd be in a conference room, and then you'd be on a theatre. There were so many different venues and areas. And what I learned a lot about business was all a business is just finding out what people want and then giving it to them. And then when you give people what they want, they're happy that they got what they want. And then you gain credibility through word of mouth and through recommendations for people saying that you do what you say you do.
A lot of magicians in queues and at balls and weddings. The card tricks you showed me today absolutely blew me away. Watching your hands really closely, trying to work out what you were doing, and just could not, even if you showed me 10 times the same trick, couldn't pick up on what you were doing. absolutely without a doubt. If you're watching this, and I don't like standing in front of people, get this guy to show you his card tricks. Absolutely spot on.
I was looking for a motto or a tagline to sort of like sum up what it was that I did. And after many months, I came up with creating memorable moments of magic. And to me, that was the whole idea of what I was doing. I was going out into the world to create memorable moments of magic. And at the time, I researched around the internet. No other magician was using this. Other magicians have since taken it. It doesn't bother me. It's sort of like, it really beautifully, to me, sums up what you're there to do. I was doing all sorts of events, from weddings to birthdays to anniversaries to proms. I was even getting booked for networking meetings. I was the jack of all trades, and I seemed to be quite good at every one of them.
I want to do it!
I'm not going to look at it. I could, but I won't. Trust me, alright?
You just did!
Write your name nice and big on the face of the card. Again, it's going to jump all the way straight back to the top of the deck. Watch really carefully, it just jumps there. Watch this. Yeah, watch this. Use the right hand for me. Right, what I'll do is you're going to tap it in right in the last second, okay? But I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll leave it protruding roughly the last way out. What I'd like you to do is tap it with your finger all the way and tap it in. Slowly, it's all the way from now.
Oh my God!
The switch is there like that, 2 and 3. But there's nothing on the back. Have a look at that card for me. Turn it over. That as a little show.
Oh my God, that was crazy. That's not even real. I don't believe that. But I do, but I don't.
Do you think you know how he did it?
No. Oh my God, I'm actually like gobsmacked. And we can keep the card. And we can take the card. Oh my God, that's crazy. Like, he took it. There were 2 separate cards. And he put both signatures on one card. Oh my God, that's crazy.
I'd make little videos and show people what I was working on, and that kind of helped promote me locally. But to be honest, I didn't really use social media that much. The word of mouth was strong enough by itself. Like, recommendations are always the surest way to go. But I didn't really require much of an online presence, because all the work that I was getting, I wanted within an hour's drive of me. So I didn't even want to go down to London, which was like an hour and a half away, even though there was much more work for much more money. I wasn't interested in the corporate side of things. I just wanted to just have enough money to be able to live on, to not have to worry about money, and to not have to work a full-time job. So I was very lucky, because I had a lot of freedom, and I said no to a lot of things just because I didn't care about commercial success. I cared about having a lifestyle that suited me. And it was really strange, because a lot of these effects and tricks that I did, I never really showed anybody. I just used to enjoy practicing and seeing if I could do things. A lot of this magic I never even do when I go out and would perform. I very much did the same tricks over and over again, and I wouldn't show any of the new stuff that I was working on. I had to be really confident about an effect, and I came up with some really good effects that would never see the light of day when it came to being performed publicly. And I'd be practicing my magic tricks at home while I was looking after the kids when they were watching like TV shows and such, and they was like getting involved, and they was always fascinated by it as well. I've performed in a lot of unusual venues for a lot of unusual people, and it's been a really fascinating and interesting journey to go on, to be a working professional magician. There's so many opportunities that you can create yourself, but it all depends on you and what you can generate, because nobody's going to come and do it for you. And I just love the fact that I could stroll up with a pack of cards and just start entertaining people, and that be enough. I stopped entering magic competitions because I didn't feel like they could do anything for me. I didn't need the validation. If I didn't come first place in the competition, I couldn't understand why, because I assumed that I was just the best. It was a very arrogant stance that I had. Some of the venues I performed in were absolutely amazing. It was like something out of a fairy tale. Not only was I part of magic groups, but I was a part of circus skills groups and escapology groups and various other groups related to the performing arts. So I tended to get to know a lot of the guys that were the best at what they did and had a real passion for what they did, and I learnt from them, and I was lucky to be able to get to know them and learn from them. I got the opportunity to go to meet Paul Daniels and his wife Debbie McGee, and that was brilliant. That was like a dream come true. He was really generous with me. He gave me a shout out on Twitter. He helped promote me. He answered any of my questions that I had. It was just him and his wife Debbie, just really amazing people. Other magicians in my area were going to see my shows and saying what they liked about the shows, and it was always nice to get that positive feedback. When I go and perform magic tricks at schools, the children would always write nice little letters to me, and it was really heartwarming to get so much positivity back.
This man is magic, thoroughly entertaining, full of fun, never laughed so much, and the whole show was just magical. We so enjoyed it.
You know, a lot of magicians do one thing. They're either an illusionist and they just do illusions, or they do card tricks and they just do card tricks. I did a bit of everything. I was fascinated by everything. I wanted to get involved in a lot. And I was probably at my peak in 2013 because I was booking out theatres and putting on shows, and my family was well, I was well, the career was going well. And in 2014, everything kind of started to fall apart because my son became very ill and I had to stay at home and look after him. And so I throughout 2014 and 15 and 16, I was just exhausted. I was always taking care of my sick son while looking after my other two children. And then I was going out in the evenings to do gigs, and and I was staying up all night to take care of him. So I was very sleep deprived for many years, and it really interfered with my career. And the great thing about being self-employed is that I turned down a lot of corporate work to be able to work locally. I didn't want to drive more than an hour outside of where I lived. I always wanted to be back in the evening for my children. I loved magic. I was very passionate about it, and at the time, it was what I wanted to do more than anything else. I'm very lucky because I've had a career whereby I got to do something that I was really passionate about, and it facilitated me and gave me a great lifestyle. But no matter how much I loved magic and how good I became at it, how much recognition I got for it, and how much it served my lifestyle, it was never as fulfilling as having children. My children are my world, and so they always come first.
Don't clap. No, don't clap. Just give it a little wave. A little wave. Oh, no. Right, we'll do it here like this, all right? Now just give it a little wave. Okay, give it a little wave. Don't, whatever you do, don't clap, okay?
Go on.
Work started to decline because I had to take care of my sick son. And then from 2017 onwards, it's just been ongoing in terms of family court battles and going in and out of court, trying to gain access and all that kind of stuff. So it really, between my son's illness and the family court, both of which were unnecessary, it really destroyed everything that was of value to me. The relationship with my children, my career, I lost everything. I lost my house, everything. And I really hit rock bottom by 2018. By 2019, my passion for magic was gone. I was still performing, doing the odd gigs here and there, but to be honest, my heart wasn't in it. I've been doing it for almost a quarter of a century. I was all magicked out, but at the same time, I feel like magic has given so much to me, and it's really helped me craft the life that I wanted and the type of person that I wanted to be. And it's really given me a huge amount of opportunities. And I felt it was a shame to just kind of let it dissipate. And I sometimes think, what would I have done differently? And I wouldn't have done anything differently. I've got no regrets. I went from being a child that didn't really have much interest to magic to developing a vision for making a dream come true, to then believing that I could do it, and then pursuing that vision through all the ups and downs and all the hard lessons I learnt along the way. And I wish when I was younger that I had a mentor, and I wish I had something like YouTube that could teach me everything that I needed to know, and all I'd have to do is just invest the time and have the courage to be able to try. I didn't have an apprenticeship, a guide or a mentor. I was winging it, and I was very lucky to have some people along the way that were very supportive and gave me opportunities to progress. But this YouTube channel isn't about me, it's about you. It's about the people that are watching magic. It's about the audience. It's about people that want to become magicians that aren't already magicians. It's about helping people that are magicians become better magicians. It's all about you. Magic for me isn't about doing magic tricks. Magic for me is a feeling. It's a feeling of wonderment. It's an emotion. It's something whereby you believe that the world is a certain way and you look at it slightly differently, and it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. There's magic to be found in everything, because when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll be notified of our latest videos.